In 5 months, a secret transition of power will hand control of America's money directly to the White House. You're probably thinking about elections, but the real shift happens in a quiet room where 7 people decide your financial future. While the country was focused on the headlines, a single name was floated for the most critical economic job in the world. It's not just another appointment. It's the calculated first move in a plan to dismantle a 112-year-old firewall. That firewall was built in 1913 for one reason: to keep politicians away from the printing press. The founders knew that if you give a leader the keys to the treasury, they will always spend today and let tomorrow pay the price. So they created an independent Federal Reserve. Governors were given 14-year terms, deliberately outlasting any single president. This wasn't about politics. It was about protecting the dollar itself from the addiction of short-term gains. For over a century, this system gave us the world's most trusted currency. What if I told you that system ends on a specific date in 2026? The public demand was not subtle. It wasn't a policy paper. It was a social media post in all capital letters ordering immediate, dramatic rate cuts. The instruction was precise: slash rates by 3 full points. Why does that number matter? Let's connect the dots. What happens when borrowing becomes almost free? Stock markets rocket. Home prices leap. The economic mood soars just in time for an election. And what happens after the votes are counted? The bill arrives in the form of runaway inflation. This isn't economic policy. It's a political anesthetic with a devastating wake-up call. The timeline is not a secret. By May 2026, a new chair will be sworn in. This individual's public record shows a pattern of aligning forecasts with the desires of their patron, not economic data. But replacing the head is just step 1. Vacant seats on the Board of Governors will be filled, creating a majority bloc. Do the math. 7 voting members, 4 loyal votes equals total control. This majority won't just set rates. It will roll back the banking regulations that were painstakingly built after the last financial crisis to protect your deposits. Why should your stomach drop about this? Because we have a perfect historical blueprint. In 1972, a president pressured the Fed for easy money to win re-election. He got his boom, his landslide victory. And then came the 1970s, a decade defined by stagflation, where prices spiraled while growth stalled. Inflation hit double digits, destroying savings and livelihoods. The medicine to cure it was so bitter: interest rates over 20%, that it triggered a brutal recession. That was the cost of one political interference. History doesn't repeat, but it often delivers the same bill with higher interest. The goal isn't just a strong economy for the polls. Follow the money on a national scale. With monumental debt, the government's interest payments are staggering. Artificially suppressed rates would free up hundreds of billions annually, money that could fund projects or tax cuts for political gain. It's a short-term sugar rush. The long-term diagnosis? Currency devaluation. When the world sees the Fed taking orders, the trust that makes the dollar the world's reserve currency evaporates. Foreign governments and pension funds start to ditch their U.S. bond holdings. A falling dollar makes every imported good from fuel to food more expensive, adding rocket fuel to inflation. So what can you actually do? You can't stop this machinery, but you can absolutely shield your finances from the worst of the fallout. The window to act is still open. When the first engineered rate cuts hit in 2026, use the temporary market sugar high as an exit signal. If you hold long-term bonds, that may be your chance to sell. Reposition into assets that historically guard against currency devaluation. Consider Treasury inflation-protected securities, TIPS, which adjust their value directly with consumer prices. Allocate a portion to tangible assets like precious metals, which have preserved wealth through every modern inflation crisis. Look at foreign currencies from nations known for monetary stability. Real estate can be a hedge, but be cautious of variable debt. For your retirement portfolio, shift toward companies with strong pricing power and consider international diversification. This isn't about speculation. It's about strategic defense. The countdown is active. 5 months until the oath of office. Then comes the coordinated rate cuts, the market euphoria, the political victory lap, and then, predictably, the consequences. The 112-year guardrail will be gone. The institution designed to say no will instead ask, how much? Your purchasing power, your savings, your loan rates all will be subject to political timing. Wall Street analysts are already whispering warnings about the loss of institutional credibility. The smart money is already moving. The critical question isn't whether this will happen. The architecture is in place. The question is whether you will be a spectator to your own financial erosion or take proactive steps in this narrow window. The historical playbook guarantees the coming inflation spike. Your move determines how you weather it. If this breakdown helped you see the next 5 months clearly, do the channel a solid, hit the like button. It genuinely supports us. For more deep dives that connect the dots before the headlines do, subscribe to Rich Root Official.